Call me Victor. Today we're gonna be. I had a little bit of time, and I'm gonna be drinking some tea here, and so I thought I'd record some thoughts on the 2026 NBA MVP race because it's really heating up. It's taking some interesting directions. I'm gonna be using a video here from Jimmy X High Roller, or just for pictures, just because I don't want to take the time to pull up pictures as I could just thing. I hope this isn't copyright infringement enough, but it's this MVP race makes no sense, and he's got some nice stats that we can look at. So I should off out of the gate, I should just say I am a Spurs fan. I think I talked about this in my debut. Probably talked about it quite a lot, especially Spurs videos that are going to be on the channel eventually. But I wanted to sort of talk about this historic moment, this moment of transition that the NBA is going through as a league, and some maybe directions that this NBA race is going to take. I'm also going to try to limit myself to half an hour at most talking. I'm going to just kind of go off the cuff here, but you'll hear some paper. I've definitely got notes. Peter Von Ziegler providing the music. So let's talk about this MVP race. There's basically five people I want to talk about, and I'll shout out some other people. Kind of like in the midway, because what I want to first do is I want to go through the major candidates for MVP, what I think the pro and con arguments are. Then we're going to talk about some honorable mentions, and then I'm going to talk about like what is going to be the results, because it's like how much does being MVP matter? How much do each of these guys? This is going to really kind of probably going to get a little philosophical here. And we're going to just talk about what it means for if each of these guys wins or loses the regular season MVP award, and what the future holds for if they win or lose the finals MVP award. And we're going to just look at those different scenarios. So we're going to project into the future here. So let's the five guys that I'm going to mainly talk about is we're going to talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA for short. Nikola Jokic. By the way, notice how these are all non-American players, by the way. But I'm gonna probably be mispronouncing a lot. Just get used to it, and I'll do my best. So yeah, number 3, we're gonna look at Jaylen Brown, who I very much notice is not on here. Number 4, we're gonna look at Luka Doncic here. And then 5th, we'll look at Victor Wembanyama. So what I want to get out of the way really early is how Luka is not winning this. Now, it's my understanding he had a hamstring injury, actually, this last game. I'm a little bit behind right now. I'm juggling a lot of things. But again, we're talking about this MVP moment in NBA history. And by the way, also, again, notice how these are all Western Conference players. But I want to talk about how there's solid arguments to be made for a lot of people to be the MVP. It definitely won't be Luka, and that apparently is going to be fact now. I'm already seeing it. We'll talk about it in detail, but here's how. Whatever your criteria for MVP is, I think if you are grading an MVP candidacy on a specific criteria, and you've got 2 players, and one of them is higher in that criteria, that means that player is better than the other one. You can't be the most valuable player if there's supposed to be somebody who's better. If you're going on whatever that criteria, obviously these things are kaleidoscopic in nature. There's a lot of things to look at. There's a lot of context, etc. But I just want to go down the list of why Luka is inferior to each of these guys in a different way. Luka is in many ways he's just the Slavic SGA in their play style and their relationship with free throws, which we'll get into. Speaking of Slavs, if like you got to say who's the best Slavic player in the world, it's got to be Jokic, the Joker, arguably the best player in the world. So if your criteria is like you need a certain Slavic percentage, For your MVP, like Slavic dog in him, units, I think it's got to be the Joker. Wembanyama definitely plays the better defense, obviously, and rebounds more. Jaylen Brown beat Luka 2 years ago. And boy, their careers have definitely taken different paths. They each have shown interesting case studies in loyalty in the NBA between players and organizations, and values in that. And finally, if you can't be the best player. By the way, I am aware that he is leading in some figures here. He is, as you can see here, he is leading in points per game. Anyway, he's also leading in turnovers. I think right now, in this moment, there's a serious case to be made that maybe Austin Reeves is the better player on the Lakers, and I don't see how. It's hard to be the MVP of the league if you're maybe not the MVP of your own team, which we're actually also. Well, we'll get there when we get there on one of these guys, on who his number 2 is, and who's maybe supposed to be a little more in the spotlight. Okay, so I just need to go turn off the alarm. Be right back. Okay, so let's talk about SGA, the reigning, defending champion, Finals MVP, regular season MVP. If you're somebody who is just, on paper, he's doing everything right, isn't he? He contributes on offense and defense. He scores. He's the clear team leader. He's competent in every aspect of the game. He's a workhorse. He puts his minutes in. He's clutch. But there is just a single damning word, and that is unethical. It's unethical, and that has become the stick. And by the way, I'm not so much taking let me wave down here in the corner. Hello, Victor Mom is here. I just want to say I'm kind of commentating on the state of NBA media as a whole is what I'm trying to do. And I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has become this fragment point for people trying to figure out what is right and what is wrong with modern NBA basketball. And a big part of that is the referee situation. It's more than obvious. You certainly couldn't say it's low key anymore. The thumb has been on the NBA is a league where the thumb gets on the scale, and when people are trying to play basketball, the league itself often steps in, set up the matchups that it wants. I don't think this is controversial. This goes back decades to say, it's and it's the most ridiculous thing I ever hear is when people say, like, well, there can't be any corruption. There's too much money involved. That's so anyway, SGA, by the way, if you're watching this, I'm figuring you at least already know some basics of basketball, but SGA, he foul baits. And it just feels like all the time he's getting more than 20 free throws a game. And it grinds on people. And the argument sometimes seems to just come back. And the thing is, he is all these great things. He is a great basketball player, but that is one of his many tools in his arsenal, is the foul baiting. And the flopping, it's absurd. People used to say, people just say LeBron does it a lot to hate on LeBron. There's others that do it, and certainly SGA is one of them. So you can make the argument that he's going, I'm going to take fouls that I'm given. And if the and I don't know SGA, I'm sure he's a nice guy. Certainly an interestingly dressed guy. And certainly, by the way, when I'm saying unethical, I've never heard a bad word about him off court. I'm sure he's like, I'm sure he gives to charities and stuff. I'm strictly talking about his place in basketball right now. He's taking the fouls he's given, and you could argue, well, he's trying to lead on a team that's now a championship team. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. Because if winning is the goal, and you are allowed to do something within the rules of the game, is that actually cheating? And I'm sorry, but in an MVP race like this, I don't know if it's the 1962 one, but it's that's enough for me. If I had a vote, wouldn't be SGA. By the way, I will probably talk about who I'm voting for in terms of like these awards that I don't actually have a vote for, because if it hasn't been stuff before, I don't talk about it. I get asked that a decent amount. Okay, so we'll talk about the what ifs later. We're already 11 minutes in. I'm gonna start speeding it up here. Okay, Jokic. Let's just say it. Greatest basketball player on the planet right now. I think even Wembanyama's biggest fans know his best days are to come. Not even 25, you know. I mean, he's like this. He would have been straight out of college, in a different league, without modern rules. He's just getting out of senior year, and he's now he's already the number one option. He is the focal point of an entire franchise. So. And it's an excellent franchise at that. So anyway, back to Jokic. Jokic he's in that prime. He's in the, and don't let anybody tell you they knew it was going to happen with him early. He matured into this incredible player that he is now. When I think of Jokic on the basketball court, the first word that comes to mind is dangerous. He's always a danger. He's, especially on offense, because yes, he could score on you. He certainly knows how to do that. But he's always trying to get to the ball to the person who's going to score as well. And he's more interested in that, and he genuinely seems to enjoy it more. But he's also somebody who, like, you want Wembanyama, a lot of his hype comes with like, oh, he's a big who could shoot threes. Well, he maybe shouldn't always do that, but it's a good weapon to have in your arsenal. And Jokic, I've lost count of how many times I see him get left at the top of the key, and it's like did you forget who I am? And he just nothing but net swishes it in. That's why I'm like, those are the top of the key three is easy for him. And look at his heave rate too. Always a very good shooter. I mean, look at the TS here, right? The assists, the rebounds, he had that game. I mean, he does stuff like where he had the game where he had two triple doubles in one game. Like, we have one triple double. What about second triple double? But I think, I mean, he is again, he's also like Wembanyama, but he's a Wembanyama stuck in a not as competent franchise. He's got Jamal Murray as his number 2. And sometimes Jamal Murray looks like prime Kobe, maybe even better. And then sometimes he doesn't really do much. He's inconsistent. It feels like he's getting consistent this year, but he's streaky. Or he sometimes fades at the wrong moments. I think the team got stronger without Michael Porter Jr. I think, though, because Jokic, who already bears so much on his shoulders, is not bearing high enough. Because he doesn't have a front office who knows how to hoard first rounds, who knows how to make good trades, take advantage of bad franchises, to get quality players. I'm talking about Oklahoma City and the Spurs. they've been in an arms race for years, and it's all starting to pay off, and they still have, you know, gas in the tank. They still have resources to hoard. The Nuggets are not in that kind of position. You know, they're in a position where they're going to be like overpaying Murray. Sorry, I'm kind of, can you tell this is like I have some notes, but it's very, very improvised. I don't think Jokic's going to get it because of 2 reasons: voter fatigue, and number 2, I'm always going to hate Perkins for this. He made it racial. Yeah, I just don't think he can ever get one again in this league. Unless he wins another title. Like, if he wins it, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so next up, let's talk Jaylen Brown, who's not here. There's a Twitter poll somewhere in here that shows, like, which, like, you know, what's that value? But yeah, it showed on like some Twitter poll, Jaylen Brown's at like 3.6%. BA Central. I don't know if this is like official. I mean, he's got the blue check mark, but who knows what that means. This was a couple of weeks ago. I think Jaylen Brown, he's if he's the MVP, it comes down to this: what is the thesis of Jaylen Brown? And I feel like up until a couple of years ago, there's Jason Tate, Jaylen Brown are tied at the hip. You know, they're attached at the leg. Really, they're a 3-legged. That was the idea. They're a 3-legged man together. That each benefits from the other, requiring coverage. So you've just got 2 really talented dudes who are at least competent in just about every aspect of the game. I know that there's like highlight reels of, it's like, oh, look at these turnovers, but you could do that with any player. About the big picture. And so Tatum was clearly always the number 1 option on the Boston Celtics. And the argument was that Jaylen Brown especially benefited from Tatum having to be guarded or accounted for. So essentially, it was like when Jaylen has hot games, it's because Tatum was drawing the fire. And then Jaylen had the really hot playoff performance year they won the title. And you know, there was the Bill Russell award. I mean, not the Bill Russell, but the Larry Bird award, right? And I think especially because Jaylen Brown is such a more, let's call him multifaceted, at least in public perception, person than Tatum, because, like, you know, Jaylen Brown, he's doing his Harvard stuff, he's doing his streaming stuff. I think there was this idea that Jaylen Brown was just like a really, really good basketball player who also had other interests, and that's like his day job. And I get it. He gets paid. He has to. He's you know, hey, call it what it is, black man on the Boston Celtics, and look at all the money they have to pay to keep him around. He's getting his bag. He clocks out at the end of the day. But then Tatum got hurt. And so Brown had to be the number 1 option. They jettisoned all the ephemeral. I don't want to say ephemeral. I mean, like, they're like, we're keeping Jaylen Brown. Obviously, he's got to captain this ship. Derek White balls out too hard. We got to hold on to him. And then everyone else got to go. And I think everybody would have completely understood if the Boston Celtics took a year off, including Celtics fans. Kind of like how the Pacers are basically taking the year off. And instead, Jaylen Brown has led this team to being one of the best in the league. And has just done a lot of the intangible work and performance required to make it that anybody who says that the Boston Celtics can't win again this year, it would just be dismissed as a fool. And if that's not value, I'm not sure what value is, but it's so unquantifiable, very difficult to say. I think one thing that helps him is he's been in the league longer. There's also unique circumstances because what's going to happen in the future. All right, but you know what? Let's get to let me talk about Luka. Let me pick it up here. All right, so Luka. Here's the main arguments I hear for Luka Doncic, who's the number one in this play. Which, by the way, great poll. Wow, there's more people who live in California than Oklahoma. Fantastic. I'm glad that poll told me that. Jesus. So let's talk about Luka. Leading in points per game, leading in steals, and they're like, oh, look at he does play defense. Here's the basic arguments I see online. I got 3 of them here. He's got that dog in him. Number 2, he's really balling out right now. And number 3, remember what he did to Devin Booker? So I just don't see it. And I think if he really is out for the year with that hamstring, that might be really good for his legacy. Actually, he's had a rough year. It's my understanding, like in personal life. I don't like to get too into that sort of stuff. I really hate when truth is ever given to the phrase the NBA is TMZ for men. Sometimes, you know what I mean. Okay, so Collins, we've got a bad performance here over the course of the entire year. Early on, the heat that we're seeing now just wasn't really there. And I think for MVP, the entire year's output is important. And the Lakers are just plain not contenders. The media would love it if they were, but it's simply not true. I think one of the best heated lines from Charles Barkley this year was Shaq was going on about the Lakers being good, and he's like, and Shaq said something like, "Well, the Lakers can beat Houston," and Barkley just barks back, you know, that's because the Houston Rockets are soft. Okay, so anyway, that's enough of Luka. Wembanyama, I'm gonna really try to restrain myself here. He's first off, his number is 1, so there you go. SGA's his number 2. Pretty obvious. He's clearly the defensive player of the year. He didn't win it last year, just fine. It's amazing how like he goes so hard all the time. People get annoyed when he doesn't do everything instantly all at once. I'll never forget his regular season debut, rookie year. People so quickly, commentary was hyping up Blake Lively on the Dallas Mavericks. Oh, by the way, real quick thing I want to say about Luka. The trade that got him to the Lakers was so bad, it genuinely doesn't matter what he does from this point on. Because with all information available at the time, it was still horrible. I mean, we're talking, there might be some great Bambino stuff going on there. Anyway, back to Wembanyama. He's a young leader of a not entirely young team, but he's like the clear number 1. I mean, you got Darius Fox on the Spurs as well as you got a double vet, Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson's, you know, senior to him. He's the 6th man off the bench, 6th man of the year, by the way. Obviously, I favor the Spurs for a lot of rewards. I think Castle, for example, will absolutely get most improved player, first team all defense as well. And I think, and this, I'm going to be the first person I've ever heard say it, but I truly believe it's true. The day is going to come when people try to villainize and divide the Spurs, that a real conversation, though, will emerge out of that about if Wembanyama or Castle is the quote-unquote better player on the team. But I think, you know, as they say, the vibes are immaculate. Like, I would love to see it do. The whole thing is like, sort of the philosophical question when it comes to like Kobe and Shaq, for example. It's like, what if Kobe and Shaq had gotten along? Could they have won more championships? But it's like, would the Kobe and Shaq that could have won more championships be the Kobe and Shaq that could get along with each other? So anyway, I think if he gets the team to number 1, I think we need to remember it is not that long ago that the Spurs were a low 20 wins team. This was a rebuilding process. And it's like Aikman. Look up Aikman's first season with the Dallas Cowboys. Not a good look. But Wembanyama, this is year 3 of his contract. The team is built. It's maybe the deepest team in the league. It's time to push. And it's working. They've beaten the champs multiple times. The word kryptonite has been thrown around. There's going to be 2 games against the Nuggets kind of closing out the season. I think that's going to have some interesting... That's also going to... I think a Wembanyama that decisively defeats the Nuggets. Of course, it's 2 games, right? So it can get split. And also takes the Spurs to #1. That quick of a turnaround. 3rd year of a rookie contract. It's that I think becomes too large of a tipping point, especially with how SGA and the Thunder have chosen, and that's what it is, it's choice. They've chosen to villainize themselves. Now, what are the cons? Oh, but he's young. He has no playoff experience. This is the nonsense that always comes up. You know, Jokic didn't get a couple years ago. He didn't get MVP. He definitely should have. And Embiid did instead. So what did Jokic do? He goes out and he gets the final MVP. And so then the next year they give him the MVP again because it's like, I'm sorry, you're supposed to get that last year. This is the problem with the relationship with these 2 types of awards is they kind of strangely feed and bounce off each other in weird ways. Because the NBA, it is kind of a 2-season league. You got regular season, postseason. That's why I'm always, this is one of the best Spurs years ever. What a joy it has been to see this team, whatever happens in the playoffs. Okay, let's run down here real quick. Let's look at some scenarios. All right. SGA. Let's say SGA, if he wins the MVP for the regular season and wins the Finals MVP again, which of course implies that the Thunder win as well. We're going to take that for granted with all of these. I know there was like, the one, like, I think Jerry West once won Finals MVP in a losing series. That's never happened again. So SGA, if he wins MVP, Finals MVP, it's the Thunder are completely positioned to continue a dynasty. Like, the word's going to start getting thrown around. It's 3-peat conversation time. And no matter what happens, people are always going to talk about this team. I mean, it is a heck of a composition team. You got you got SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet, and you just like go all in on them, but you keep your role players around them. It's an interesting setup, and it's working when everybody's healthy. Now, if SGA wins the MVP and he loses the Finals one, he's just going to get labeled fraudulent. It'll never, like, he'll have to live with it forever. You know, ref baby, but it's like, again, is this the league's fault or his fault? And if he loses the MVP and then becomes Finals MVP again, I think he becomes the anti-villain. It's an interesting situation because he, you know what I mean, and he would love it. I bet he's always got the style, the glasses, all this stuff. He'd become the anti-villain of the league, and where he's begging for the booze as they go for the 3-peat. All right, next up, Jokic. If he wins MVP and Finals MVP, that's when the GOAT conversations get started for real. The GOAT big. And then I think people are going to start lining up around the block to try to get on the Nuggets, where it's going to be out of the Nuggets' hands. People will be trying to get over there. Even their stupid front office can't mess it up too much, right? Now, if Jokic becomes MVP, but not the Finals MVP, I think he becomes this huge what if story. He's gonna be the poster boy for teams squandering talent. And him only ever having one championship will probably be a bigger, strangely enough, a bigger feather in his cap. I mean, it's a weird thing. I mean, I'm sure he just wants to win, right? Win. Now, if he doesn't become the MVP and he does win the Finals, that's where, again, GOAT conversation. But now it's the uncrowned GOAT. That's that timeline, I think. Because they're going to say, look at all these MVP hats. He only had one. Because, you know, they caught Murray on a hot streak. I mean, I think the Nuggets, by the way, I'm a Spurs fan, but I love to watch the Nuggets play too, man. When Aaron Gordon gets hot, things are possible. All right, next up. Oh, geez, we're getting short here. All right, Jaylen Brown, MVP and Finals MVP. I think this actually triggers a Celtic crisis, because then who is actually number one on this team? Tatum or Brown. I think Brown, he at least, I mean, I can't know, nobody can know his mind, but I think at least publicly he can put on the, like, we are the duo, we are a team, we do not let the media divide us. But I think Tatum, the way I think he goes into crisis mode. So he's gonna go. He's gonna have a strange crash out, and he's gonna get himself traded to the Lakers, and like try to do Kobe things all day long. And he's gonna be like, he's like, yeah, I did 2 dynasties. Like I won 2 in Boston. I'm gonna win 2 in LA, and I do this all for Kobe. Like he's gonna say, I want all of my rings to go to Kobe. So that's what's gonna happen if Braylon wins both. Now, if he wins MVP and doesn't win the finals, very intriguing situation. Because then, again, does this mean it's officially time for Tatum's MVP run next year? But that means he'd have to be an established #1 option. Again, I think you see the Celtics. It's amazing how much is now riding on the personalities of these 2 guys. And if he doesn't win MVP, but they do win the finals, I think that actually maybe cements him as the Celtics leader. So Jaylen Brown's actually in a really great position. So this just shows how meaningless these awards ultimately are. Because the way he's played all year, he'll be able to write his own ticket next contract time. Let's see if the Celtics will mess up and give him a reason to leave. Okay, so for Luka, if he doesn't win MVP, doesn't win finals, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The injury issues, I mean, there's what is to be done about that. Now, if he doesn't become MVP and doesn't win the finals, that is kind of just a huge thumbing. I think you'd have to say it's a clear thumbing the nose at Nico Harrison, who I spit upon him. He now if he doesn't win MVP, but he wins the finals MVP, Nico Lynch is going to have to go into witness protection. Because it's too like, let's just look at the facts here. 2 years ago, Luka takes a team of like this demented former sidekick of LeBron, who's a Twitch streamer. What else do I need to say? And then a bunch of guys who are just happy to be there. Shout out Blake Lively. And he's like getting beat up. I remember at one of the press conferences, some reporters like, how's the chest contusion? It's like, how many injuries does this guy have? He gets traded away in the worst deal probably of the century, at least. I mean, it depends on how you feel about the David Stern cancellation of the Chris Paul trade, but it's the worst deal. And it's just been like a disaster for the Mavericks ever since. What a strange team. Can you imagine if like 10 years ago you had told somebody, okay, we're going to build a team. It's got Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, and Kyrie Irving. You're like, oh my gosh, that's like the new Eat Big 3 type stuff. You know, that's like, who could stand against them? Oh, gee, a lot apparently. But if, yeah, Luka wins a championship 2 years later, California team. I mean, Luka was probably always going to end up at the Lakers. He's just too much of a gimmick. He's just like, it's like Messi with, you know, playing in Florida. Like, he's just there as entertainment so people can say they saw him. You know, he pays for his salary and just the jersey sales, you know. But it's like, but somebody actually pulled the trigger and did it in the stupidest way. Like, he didn't end up in LA. He got like a fat free agent deal. He didn't anyway. So yeah, because we're over time here. So if he comes MVP and Finals MVP, Nico Harris will be lynched. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it. I'm not saying that should happen. I'm saying that's what will happen. But apparently he won't be MVP because he's hurt. So we avoided that. But there would be legislation passed regarding the funerals of Nico Wright and proper ways to mourn or not mourn him. Okay, so Wembanyama, real quick, if he gets MVP and Finals MVP, we enter this utopic age. It's just good basketball. Now, if he doesn't win the MVP and he does win the Finals MVP, I think that locks him into San Antonio because he won a championship on his rookie contract. And then the next year he's going to be really going for it, and he's going to have the bump off the Finals one. So you see, this is a classic example of where I'm saying how they're feeding into it. Just like Jokic, he becomes the Finals MVP. So then the next year's MVP kind of becomes like, here's your award for services rendered for you know, us messing up last time. It's like when they gave Scorsese Best Director for The Departed. Are you kidding me? They were just starting to realize, okay, it's getting a little embarrassing. We haven't given this guy one yet. So anyway, now if he becomes MVP and loses in the final, or no, like MVP, but he doesn't become Finals MVP, I think the Wembanyama villain arc, which is gonna happen, it starts early. Because he's gonna be in the final year of his contract. He's gonna be getting vicious. We're gonna find out the line between French, calling him French laudatory and French derogatory. I mean, this is already happening. Like, is he arrogant or is he French? We're trying to figure that out. But that definitely triggers it early. In fact, I think, gosh, could you imagine a Wembanyama that wins MVP and gets dusted in the first round, first trip into the playoffs? Next year, it's going to be insane. Like, the Spurs will hire somebody just to feed him chicken to people like we're going to turn you into David Robinson now. And he's just like, you need to hire somebody to do it. You think I can't do it myself? And he just starts ripping into like some drumsticks. Now, let's say he doesn't become MVP and doesn't become Finals MVP. It's no big deal. He's a guy. He's on the 3rd year of his rookie contract. He's 22 years old. Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? It's like, oh my god, it was so sad. It was so sad. Wembanyama didn't get a gold medal. It's like, oh my gosh, he has to settle for silver at the Olympics. An event he'll go at more than once. I mean, it's a big moment. Frankly, Team USA. Well, I'm glad Derek White got it. Anyway, so those are just some of my random thoughts on the NBA MVP race right now, and I think we're gonna. Yeah, come playoff time, we'll talk more Spurs. But that's my predictor. Oh yeah, my official predictor. I think they're gonna give it to SGA. I think, yeah, the vote is gonna get split too much, and it's very hard, I think, to not put SGA at least at your 2. And I think it's basically gonna put him over the top, and especially if Luka's hurt. Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot to talk about a couple of honorable mentions. Just a couple names I saw in the conversation that I thought were completely stupid. Alex Caruso, stop it. Sengun, completely overrated, and I know he had that going in an overtime block, but that's the most clutch thing I think I've ever seen him do. And one moment like that, even with the old aura. Does not make it MVP. I'm extremely curious to see what is going to happen to these Rockets in the playoffs. It's amazing to think that there is, at the beginning of the season, I don't know, the 2 teams, one in each conference, by the way, that I think are just complete. I think it's like everybody knows, but nobody can put their finger on it. Everybody knows there's no gas there. They're paper tigers, and that's the Houston Rockets in the West and the Cleveland Cavaliers in the East, who are both stacked with talent, allegedly, and yet everybody seems to know it's going to get ugly in the playoffs for them. But you know what? I could do playoff predictions when the season's over. They go, oh, shoot! Anyway, remember the history will be written by the victor. And come check me out on a live stream.